there we are, we're live. Oh, driving down the road all by myself, and I get bored and I get lonely. So then I thought, I'll just turn on the camera and we'll go live and see how that works. So, although if you're not watching this on replay, you don't hear this because nobody's watching yet. Oh, somebody's watching. Somebody's out there hanging out with me as I drive down the road. Not much to see tonight. What's up, Kingpin? Not much for scenery tonight. Of course, it is dark. But, you can't even see me if I do. Yeah, you can kind of see me, I guess. Here, I can angle that a little bit so the Yahoo behind me isn't bright lighting you. There. Now we can kind of see each other a little bit. I can read the comments, and you guys can kind of see me. Just rolling down the highway, getting ready to go deer hunting. Thought I'd turn on the camera, hang out with y'all. We got a couple hours of road time here, so. What's up, Squidward? Covering a few things that I didn't get to on my list of things that make me grumpy the other night. Thanks, Kingpin. A couple things I wanted to cover. First and foremost is not holding people accountable for the bad things that they do and looking to blame everybody else except for the one that did something bad. And that was coming more from the lawsuit against Remington. But why don't we just blame the idiot that actually killed people? That seems like it would be the person to blame. That's who's responsible. Not the hey, thanks, Kingpin. Not the person that built the rifle, because rifles are not built strictly to kill people, no more than the knives are built to stab people. But people misuse them all the time. So that bugs me a lot. Another one that happened this last week, I was going to talk about it, is came from a meme. I actually shared it on Facebook. So if you follow my Facebook page, you probably saw this one. But it actually, I'd never thought that much about this whole concept. And that's the cool thing about memes is if you take them at face value, they're usually kind of funny and cheeky. And sometimes they actually make you think a little deeper. And so, oh, sorry, I just bright lighted somebody. Oops. They're probably going to flash me now. Anyway, there was a meme about, I think it was Elizabeth Warren, saying that, the veteran suicide rate is way too high, which it clearly is. 22 a day is 22 more than there ought to be. Hey, what's up, Travis? You should be here with me, or at least on your way up. And yeah, 22 a day, way too many. We want to get that down to 0 a day for veteran suicides. But Elizabeth Warren has a plan. She can actually reduce the number, cut that in half. She knows how. She knows how to cut the number of veteran suicides in half. She's not going to tell us. She's not going to tell us unless we elect her president, because she's going to hold that information hostage. I think that is about the most despicable damn thing you could possibly do. She's either, and guess what, guys? I should have warned you. This is, I'm probably not going to pull a lot of punches. I doubt I'll drop an F-bomb, but here's the thing: is she's either full of shit, is one of the things that's possible here, when most likely. The other possible scenario is that she really does have a plan that'll really work. And that makes her probably one of the lowest human beings that I've ever seen, because she, if that was the case, she actually has the power to prevent people from taking their own life, and she chooses not to use it if that's the case. So she's either talking out her bung, which is what we're used to her doing, or she is calculatedly evil. She is doing on purpose letting people kill themselves because she's not president yet. So either way, that does not sound like somebody that we should vote for. Clearly, I won't be voting for her. I won't be voting on a Democrat ticket anyway in the primary. But those of you who vote Democrat, if you're listening to this, think about what these candidates are saying. They have a plan. They have a plan for this. They have a plan for that. If they really had a plan and they really cared more about the country than they do about advancing their own agendas or making themselves rich, then they would share that plan. They're really not all that benevolent, are they? So tell me again how this person who says, well, it's not fair that one person has too much and the other person doesn't have enough, and I'm going to fix that. How benevolent are they if they're not willing to actually give their knowledge? If they've got knowledge that we don't have, they should share that, right? Or they should shut up. Another thing that bugs me, a plan that will take away what I have to give it to you because I've got more of it than you have. Not for this. Not at all. And I don't care if people don't like it. I don't care if I step on toes when I say it. But the money that I work for, the money that I earn, the money that is given to me as a gift, as an inheritance, as whatever it is mine. And I will do with it what I choose to do with it, and I do not want anybody else telling me what that needs to be. Now, I have the right in this country to not share what's mine. And it might make me a jerk. It probably does make me a jerk. But you have the right to be a jerk. You have the right to be an a-hole in the United States of America. That is a right that people have given their blood, given their lives to protect, is the right to be an a-hole. We have that kind of freedom. Nobody forces us to do things against our will, except for, oh my gosh, we're going to pay some taxes. Right? That's what's inevitable, death and taxes. And so I don't like the idea that we should tax the extremely wealthy. I don't like the idea that people think that just because they've got more than me, I should have some of what they have. So I've been talking and not reading as much. What's up, Gary? See you out there. Who else is out there? I've been meeting some vehicles, so I've been trying to read, but I hope she doesn't round up all the veterans and put them in camps. But you know what? If we get all those kids out of the cages on the border, maybe then there'd be some empty cages. We could put the veterans in there if that's what she wants to do, I suppose. I don't know. As long as we don't separate them from their families, though, that's what's most important, is not separating them from their families. So we pay an insane dollar amount of tax. Yeah, we do. And I know that there are other countries who pay even more in taxes than we do, and they don't have to pay out of pocket for, their health care. They don't have to pay out of pocket for their college. They don't have to pay out of pocket for a lot of things, but they also don't have the freedoms that we have, right? I mean, with freedom comes, freedom isn't free. And so there are some things that we run the risk. You have the freedom to be successful in this country. You also have the freedom to starve to death if you're not willing to work. So there are people who are in a position where they don't have the physical ability or the emotional or mental ability to have a job and make their own money and pay their own bills. But we've got programs to help people that are in need like that. But there are way more people who are living on government assistance who choose not to work than there are people who would prefer to be working and cannot. And that just makes me mad, because those are the people that are saying, well, you look at these billionaires and we ought to just take away what they have because I don't have as much money as they have. So I think that I should get some of their money because they got more than they really need. So, and I don't have enough. and it's greed. It's exactly they're projecting greed upon the people who have amassed the wealth, which they didn't fall into that overnight. They worked for it, or it was given to them, or in Donald Trump's case, his dad gave him some money. He invested it. He grew that $1 million into $1 billion. You don't do that if you're an idiot. You don't multiply your wealth by 1,000 times if you're completely dumb and terrible with your money, even if you are supposedly, a Nazi or whatever. But the fact is that is their money. They can do what they want to with it, and we don't have any place to tell them what to do with it. That's their business. It's none of ours. So what I always want to do when I hear that is look at somebody and say, well, you know what? You've got a nice coat there. Do you have any other coats at home? And if they say, nope, this is my only coat, then, well, that's a nice coat, when the conversation dies. But if they say, oh yeah, I've got a couple of them in the closet, for different occasions. Well, I know a guy that doesn't have any, so I'm going to take half of your coats and give it to them because you're so big on everybody sharing what they have, right? And they shut up real quick because, well, no, I want to take it away from the billionaires. You can only do that for so long before there are no more billionaires and there's nothing left to take away. Then you've got to start taking it away from the people that don't have as much. And then pretty soon you've got to keep going down the line and taking stuff and taking stuff and taking stuff that doesn't belong to you. Never intending at the same time to share half of what's yours with people that are less fortunate than you. Anybody listening probably doesn't, the shoe doesn't fit, but bugs me. Gets me going, gets me rambling. All right, what else do we have going on out there? Jonas Salk gave away for free the polio cure. He would not patent the sun. Well, you know what? Jonas Salk made that choice, though. Nobody forced him to cure polio and not do a patent. That was his decision to make. Had the government come at gunpoint and said, I hear that you have a cure for polio, and we're going to take that and use it to cure polio across the world, but you're not going to get anything. Do you think he would have felt the same way? Maybe. But that wouldn't have been his decision to make then, would it? So, again, it was his choice to make. If people want to give what they have, then absolutely, that is admirable. But we can't force people to do it. We can't force people to give their time, their assets. It's no different than forcing somebody who chooses not to bake a cake for a specific wedding because they don't agree with the premise of the two people that are getting married. You know what? In this country, you have a right to do business or not do business with whomever you choose. So, if anybody came into that bakery and said, I can't believe that you're going to make a cake for two homosexual people getting married, you can't deal with them, don't deal with the gay people, then people would be outraged, right? They would be like, you know what, he can deal with whoever he wants to deal with, he can make a cake for whoever he wants to make a cake for. But if he says, no, I'm not going to take this job, I don't want your business, I won't take your money, and I won't make you a cake, everybody loses their mind. You have to make a cake, you have to do business with these people. I don't understand why it works one way and not the other. It's his business. He can run it how he wants. If he refuses to deal with a certain group of people and he can stay in business by dealing with other people instead, then power to him. If word gets out and people stop going to that bakery and he goes out of business because his decisions affected his bottom line, then he made his own choice, didn't he? But again, freedom, his choice. Pay more taxes, yes, that's true. Well, there is my lovely bride who did not make the trip with me yet. She's going to join me tomorrow night, but she's got a little thing called work that I got out of tomorrow, and she could not. So she'll be making this trip tomorrow in the daylight. Let's see, who else is out here? Kingpin says, Nordic countries own stock in the medical companies. That's how they offer free health care, that and the taxes. Yes. and most Nordic companies, most Nordic countries, most Scandinavian countries, you end up paying about 50% of your income back in taxes. So 10X Shooters, what's up out there? Keith Gregory's in the house. Yeah, give me half of your code even if you only have one. You know, that is basically what they're saying. They want to do to everybody else. But then if the tables were turned, they would scream and holler if we came in and just took half of what they had, right? If you've got more than one vehicle in your family and my car breaks down and I don't have a car, then I should be entitled to one of your cars, right? You've got two, I've got zero. Well, let's average it out to one apiece. That's how it should work, right? Bread lines are great. Everybody gets bread. Eventually, if you can stand in line long enough, yeah. Who else is out here? Let's see. Go to a Muslim bakery, ask for a gay cake. Yep. What else we got out there? Right. I have not had a lot of time today to catch up on the world. Work was busy, and then after work, I had to get packed to get loaded and get on the road, and I have not taken the time to read headlines or read articles about the shooting. So anybody that wants to fill me in sure could do that. At least give me the details. Don't put it in too long of a message or I won't be able to read it probably as I'm driving, but safety first. What else? Let's see here. This I think is okay to share with the world, but we had a good checkup today with the oncologist and everything is still looking good. Had a couple scans to make sure that a couple spots that maybe are showing up don't have anything to do with cancer, and they're just normal things that happen within the body as you age, and that's what it looks like. So everything's good there, still in remission. So we're thankful to have that news right before Thanksgiving. Other than that, that's about it. I probably should stop rambling about being mad about stuff for a little while. What am I hunting with? Well, tonight if I go do any deer hunting, it's with the bumper of my Tahoe, because that's the only thing that's legal right now. But I brought a pile of stuff, because if we get some deer early in the weekend, then we'll have some time on Sunday to play a little bit. So, but I've got the Browning. I think most of you have probably heard the story. Travis was implicit in said story, so he knows it well. But the Browning is along for the ride, and so is the beater, the Remington 788. I brought that along just in case, because if it's a rainy day, I'm not taking this beautiful rifle out and getting it wet. I mean, I don't mind cold so much, but if it comes in out of the cold, I'll just wipe down the condensation. But I don't want to actually get it out in the rain so bad. Next year, I'm hoping to come up with something so that I can leave this one for just special occasions, because it's my first anniversary gift, and it's got a cool story behind it. And I want to take at least one deer with it, but then I want to case it up and keep it nice and have something else for an actual hunting 270. So, but the beater gun's a 243, which also does really well for the old white-tailed deer. So, got a couple different tags. Ultimately, with what I've bought for tags, if I filled everything, I can be driving home with 4 deer. I may or may not do that. For those of you in Nebraska, if you're deer hunters, you probably are aware of this program, because when you buy your permit online, they ask if you want to donate to Hunters Helping the Hungry. And this is a cool program. I want to plug that a little bit, because you can donate whatever amount you want. They've got a couple buttons there that you can take the pre-selected amounts, $5, $10, 20, whatever they have there. You can fill in your own amount if you want to round it up to even dollars or whatever, or even tens when you check out there. But let's see here. That's what we're talking about, Kingpin. With Hunters Helping the Hungry, what happens is this program is run entirely by donations across the state of Nebraska from the deer hunters and anybody else who wants to contribute. And you can just search Nebraska Game and Parks or Hunters Helping the Hungry Nebraska. If you search that, it'll bring up the page. There's 11 or 12 different processors across the state that are involved with this, and what happens is each processor picks the dates that they're willing to accept deer. Some of them are all through archery, rifle, muzzleloader, the January late season. Some of them are only November firearm season. Some of them are only December. But the dates are on the website. You can find the processor. There's 2 of them within half an hour's drive of where I live. But each processor gets contracted with the state of Nebraska for a predetermined number of deer. They contract the number of deer each processor can take, and then the number of contracts is determined by the amount of donations they get every year. So it can vary from year to year how many people can donate to the program, but you shoot the deer, you field dress it, and then leave everything else. You can't cut it up, you can't skin it, any of that. It's got to come in whole minus the entrails, and you just donate it right there to the processor, whether it's a locker, butcher shop, whatever it is. Sign the deer over to them, the chain of custody, and then the donations, the contract pays for their time to process that animal, and then the meat from that animal goes to a specific either a food pantry or a charity of some sort. Each locker has their own charity, which is also listed on the website with their info. So you can, if you live around Lincoln or Omaha, there's a couple of them within driving distance. You can pick the one that's going to give the meat to where you want it to go. But that is something that you can do in the state of Nebraska. So I probably am only going to pay to have 1 deer processed this fall, and but I have enough permits that I can shoot 3 more, and all I'm out is a little ammo and a little time to clean the deer, field dress it, and then take it down and drop it off. A little bit of gasoline. So if it helps feed people this winter, then it's kind of worth it. I'm thinking about doing that. Not that I expect any attaboys, that's not the point. But the reason I'm saying this is because I want to raise awareness for those of you in the state. If you donate it, let's see, do you keep the racks and the heads for the wall? Depends. If I get one that's big enough to go on the wall, I will have to lobby with Sandhills Sweetheart to get that to happen, because she says for now only Bonehead can be on the wall. We're not doing any more. But if we get something that is bigger than him, I will probably, well, I know you're listening, honey, but hopefully at that point forgiveness is easier to get than permission, because I'm probably going to go ahead and keep him out and leave him with the taxidermist before I go home, if that's the case. But we'll see. I am not going up there specifically to bring home something that goes on the wall. I don't really care about that as much as some people do. I don't want to. I mean, it's going to have to be, pretty decent, gnarly old buck before I'll want to mount it anyway. So, but I like to shoot stuff that's young enough it still tastes good. So we'll see what happens. But I could shoot 1 buck and 3 antlerless whitetails, or I could shoot 4 antlerless whitetails. Where I hunt in Nebraska, there are mule deer, but antlerless mule deer. Cause you don't just want to say doe if it's a male with no antlers, or what qualifies as antlered is 1 antler at least 6 inches long. So if it's a male with, it doesn't have at least 1 antler that's at least 6 inches, then it still counts as antlerless. And if it's a mule deer in the part of the state where I hunt, that's illegal. Or if it's a mule deer doe. But if it's antlerless, it has to be whitetail. If it's got antlers, it can be either species. So, but I can shoot one with the permits that I have. I can only take one antlered deer. So we'll see what happens. But the ranch needs to have some does thinned out. Dad's complaining about the all the corn that they've eaten already before he can get it out of the field. So, and I'll get some pictures and maybe get some video. And I don't know if I'll go live too much tomorrow or as we go through the weekend here. I might just record some stuff and then edit that and put it up after the fact. If I get a chance to go live, maybe if I'm bored while we're sitting and waiting for sundown to get closer, we might turn the camera on, but it'll be mid-afternoon, so you might not all be able to join anyway. But this isn't keeping up with the comments anymore. Let's see. Now the other option I have, if I shoot a buck and it's not bigger than bonehead, I still can keep the antlers and just have those mounted. The last deer that I shot, my cousin's got that skull plate and antlers, and he was going to mount those up just an antler mount. And if that's the case, I might make some room in the office. I might just move that Gadsden flag down and put some antlers up there or something so you guys can see it sometime. So we'll see what happens, but I gotta get one on the ground first. So those of you on Facebook, did you see my buddy's deer that I posted up here last Saturday? He shot that from his tree stand. Then he went to work, went hunting, got his deer finally, and then went on to work. And he had a long day that day, but it was cool. Let's see. Clint's out there. Clint, you have my all-time favorite screen name. I just have to say that. You want a big fat yummy doe? They are yummy, aren't they? I like that idea. Let's see. You guys probably aren't going to help me make my case, honestly. I appreciate the help trying to convince her to let another deer on the wall, but I don't think she has any intention of budging. And if she won't do it for me, she's probably not going to do it for the rest of you. Let's see here. I think what I'm seeing, Squib, are you saying that you go hunting next weekend, not this weekend? I do need a man cave. We need to finish out our basement. That would help. If anybody is a good carpenter and wants to come donate some labor, feel free to come to Nebraska and we'll work on finishing the basement. Then we'll have a man cave down there. Big bucks look cool, but big does taste better. That's true. Does don't look as good on the wall either. Although a good taxidermist can take a doe and put antlers on it and make it, any kind of Frankenstein looking thing you want. So what else? Wild Bill, I don't think I've ever seen you out in one of our chats before. Do I know that name? Is this somebody that changed their name? Who the heck is Wild Bill? Besides the guy that was the helicopter pilot for G.I. Joe, which wasn't spelled the same. Headed out in the morning, Northeast Ohio. Well, the rut's just getting going where I'm living, so I don't know where yours is at over there. But New York Outcast in the house. What's up, New York Outcast? Thanks for hanging out with us, 10X. Mr. Boob Sweat, 41, never been hunting. You know what? Come to Nebraska. You know what we should do? I should talk to my dad and see if he is okay with the idea before I actually float this idea. But we have a late season January, or second chance, I should say, rifle season in January every year in Nebraska. And you cannot shoot a buck in January, but you can get antlerless only tags and anybody that wants to go deer hunting. I should talk to my dad and see if he's okay with a few people coming in. I'm sure he won't have a problem with people coming in, and thinning down some of the deer. But I can't say for sure without asking him. It's not my place to invite people to come hang out and stay. But that would be cool if we organized a hunt where we had a few of us get together. That permit, I can't remember now. It costs something around $260, I think, if you're out of state, to get your non-resident permit and your habitat stamp and your travel. But I think we could probably arrange something. Reposition that a little. I'm sure he wouldn't have a problem. Let's see. I don't care who it was that changed her mind, Squib, if she lets me do it, but a little busy with 3 kids. That's cool. Let's see here. Everybody's telling how old they are. You're 21 again, Kingpin? I thought you were at least 25. I don't want to be under 25 because my insurance went down when I turned 25. That's the youngest I want to be. But Kingpin, you just need to come out and hang out and we'll get you a deer. That would be awesome. Let's see. Boop Sweat has a lot to learn. I forget where you are, Boop Sweat. Which state are you in? I can't keep track of everybody. And I know that there's some of you that I've asked on multiple occasions, but I didn't write it down and it's been more than 5 minutes, and that's how my brain works. So my nose itches. Somebody's thinking about me, and I don't want to look like I'm picking my nose. It just itches. That's all. I'm not picking boogers. What else we got going on? Let's see. Missouri. Oh, St. Louis. Cool. A friend of ours just got married. I think it was in August, and they live in Iowa, but they drove down to St. Louis to get married and had a cool weekend. We didn't make it, but I wanted to go. But we with the DJ business, weekends in the summertime, if we don't plan at least a year out, we don't have plans. We go working. So this next year though is going to be some ways better, some ways worse, because we're not going to book as many dances. We did 32 this year, so we had a whole lot of we were busy and we were making some money, but we didn't have much of a life. And so we've got some things blocked off on the calendar that we're not going to fill up, like Tulsa in April. That's blocked off to where we can go to Tulsa. I'll get the time off from work to do that, and take some more time off in May because we're going to Jamaica, man. So anybody that wants to join us in Jamaica, let me know if you're serious about it, and we can get you in on our group. We're going to Negril, the western tip of Jamaica. It's a couples swept away resort. It's not for kids. It's not one of those naughty resorts. It's not that, but it is just for adults. It's not a kids resort, which means it's a little less noisy, a little less hectic, a little more relaxing. But it's not the one several miles up the beach that they said where the naked people have on the beach. No, it's not that at all. Just want to make sure that people understand that. But that'd be cool to have some people join us. I keep trying to get Travis to go, but with school just getting out and the move and everything, he won't commit because he's a fun hater. So we should shame Travis until he commits to going. Let's see. Kingpin, that would be awesome. If you don't come out and hunt, then maybe you can join us at Wanamaker this spring. That'd be cool. There's always people from that end of the country that are heading to Oklahoma. So if they're driving or flying or whatever, I mean, you can always do a GoFundMe to get you there. Like the one who strikes at night, he does that. Let's see. Keep an eye on which one? On Kingpin? I know he's a smooth talker, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all, because my wife is not attracted to good-looking, smooth-talking guys. She's attracted to me. So, no problem. Keith Gregory, been to Montego Bay. I have some customers I was talking to today at work that are leaving, I think, next week or two, and they're going to Mo Bay. But I can't remember now what resort they said. But they've never been, and they're going to have a blast. Jamaica's the best as far as going out of the country. I think he's talking about you, Kingpin. I don't know. I was kind of unclear on that too, but I'm not worried. Not worried a bit. I think you should make a trip to Nebraska, and we're kind of centrally located here, in the middle of the country, in the central time zone, which is the only one that matters. And so I think a lot of you should all come to Nebraska, and we could all hang out. And I'm kind of curious what the fast food workers in Maryland know about you, Kingpin. That's interesting. Interesting thing to hear about. So, yeah, well, we're a little bit past the halfway point. Heading to the old rancho. It's called the Anderson Ranch. That's where we're going. Kippahaw County, Nebraska. If you can find Kippahaw County, Nebraska, then you can find about anything, because it doesn't look like it sounds. But right in the dead center of the top of the state is where we go. When Ghost was helping me design the logo for the channel here, I wanted the star to be, well, I sent him a GPS coordinates of where the ranch is, and the star is a little too big to be perfectly accurate, but right up where the star is in the state of Nebraska, right up close to there, it's in the right general vicinity where I'm going. That is the place from where I came. So this year I have made a commitment to get some cool pictures, some cool video, so I can actually show the place off. What I probably am going to do at some point with my dash mount is just turn on the high-speed camera and just go driving around, do my hunting, whatever, just let the camera roll, and then that'll play back at the high speed. Looks like it's in fast forward when you play it back. So I think it'll be cool, because you'll get to see some of the ranch without having to take 4 hours to take the whole tour. Because honestly, I mean, you see one cedar tree, one cottonwood, kind of seen them all. But there's a lot of cedar trees and a lot of cottonwoods up there. So beautiful country. Didn't appreciate it until I moved away from it. Couldn't wait to leave home. Couldn't wait to grow up, get out of the house, leave. Now I can't wait to be in a position where I can retire and just go back. So heck yeah. We got us a convoy coming up here. What am I missing on the comments? What am I, Hunter Biden? Let's see. New York Outcast says, got the smiley, or the cool smiley. West Virginia. Rich White's a rascal, but we all knew that. Tara Smith, I don't think I've ever seen you out there either in the chats. This is kind of cool. How's come you people aren't always with us on Tuesday nights? That's a long comment. Let me try and read it here. I go through Nebraska quite a bit, heading to North Dakota and Montana. Hit a young elk up by Valentine about 4 years ago. Yeah, sheet of ice, nothing you can do. Yeah, there are more and more elk every year. The population's coming back. I have never seen elk in the wild in the county where I hunt, but I know that there are some. You just have to go to the Niobrara Valley, and I hunt a different river, so we're not down on the Niobrara. We're north of there, up along the Kipaha River. So that's cool. The weather is crappy weather for deer hunting. Most people would say it's going to be beautiful and gorgeous and 45 to 55 degrees, and that's exactly what I don't want. So I don't think it's even going to be overcast. It's going to be sunny and around 50 degrees every day, and it's not even going to freeze at night. There's one night, the last time I looked in the forecast, there's one night where it might get to 32, which isn't going to be a hard freeze even if it does freeze. So if we do shoot some deer, we won't be able to have them hanging very long before we have to get them down and get them taken care of. So we'll see what happens. But again, that's future Sandhills' problem. We'll let him deal with it, right? This is now Sandhills. I'm not worried about it. Let future Sandhills deal with it. So what else we got? Do enjoy road trips, considering Wanamaker. Do it! Horror convention. That sounds kind of cool. Is that like a Fangoria type thing? Sounds kind of neat, like Comic-Con, but for horror, huh? I could see that. Do a little cosplay, your favorite slasher. Figure out the money. Yep, that's everything. Sandhills sweetheart kicked herself probably about when I was 20 miles away from home when I went down a year ago in April. Got somebody decided to turn real stop short there. I think she decided right after I left that she should have gone with. So this time when we go, she's definitely going with. She found out that the gun channels people are actually fun, and she was missing out on a great time. Plus, here's the other thing, because we have to go to karaoke when we're down there, and if anybody tries to rub up on me when I'm singing, then she'll be right there. You guys get a free show, and she beats somebody down and throat punches people. So it's gonna be fun. We may have to do a GoFundMe for bail money, but again, that's future Sandhills' problem. So no worries. Let's see here. I do get reception out there, Squib. Pictures of the place or pictures of deer, or just anything and everything. Let's see. Tara Smith is awesome. Is this somebody that I should know? Am I admitting to being a doofus here? If don't know who somebody is that I ought to know, or do you just know Tara Smith from other chats and hanging out, and the way that we all kind of know each other? Let's see. Future Sandy's problem. I've got a buddy named Adam, and that's always what he's saying. That's his saying. That's future Adam's problem. We'll be out, and he'll be like, yeah, I didn't want to spend the money to go out tonight, but and then he'll end up, racking up a huge bar tab or whatever, because he's buying everybody drinks, buying our friends Jaeger bombs, which are not cheap, and drunk Adam is cool. I mean, he's a cool guy anyway, but he comes out of his shell when he's had a couple Jaeger bombs, and then he starts buying everybody drinks, and he knows, he's like, yeah, I gotta go to work tomorrow night, but I'm gonna feel like crap. But you know what? That's future Adam's problem. He can deal with it. This is now Adam. So that's where I got that from. I got to give Adam the credit for that. I don't think he watches my channel, so he'll never know I was talking about him. But he's single, ladies. He's single. I can't remember now how old Adam is. He's right around 30, between 35 and 40, I think. He's a Pisces. He has excellent health insurance. He likes long walks on the beach, pina coladas, and getting caught in the rain. Every time I get a chance to introduce him to somebody, I always say that about him. So, and as far as I know, he's single. Blitz, what's up, dude? Robert Englund is gonna be. Dude, you gotta get me an autograph and then bring it to Tulsa. I want Robert Englund's autograph. He is still, I mean, dude, that movie has affected me since I was a kid. Not necessarily in a nightmarish way, but that was my first horror movie. And it's my favorite. You know, Halloween's cool, Friday the 13th is cool, Child's Play is cool, but there will never be another Nightmare on Elm Street, because that was my first slasher movie I ever saw, probably at way too young of an age. But you know what? It didn't affect me in such a way that I go out and break the law. I still know better. So, you know, it's just a movie. You don't actually do stuff like that in real life. Either or both. Got it, Squib. All right. So, we still got a ways to go. Anywho, what else is going on? Anybody have any other questions? Or if there's a question that I missed and you want to repeat, go ahead and do so. But, dude, this is cool. I like it when I turn on the camera and you guys just hang out with me as I'm driving, because it makes the trip go so much faster. And there's not much to look at in the darkness, so a few people's yard lights as we're driving through. But if I flip this back around, readjust the camera, I mean, honestly, it's just a road. There's not much there to see, so yeah. Probably should set the cruise. We weren't even going the speed limit. So Robert Englund was in V. That's cool. I've seen him in some other stuff. Are you talking about my buddy New York Outcast? Is that what's... Hey, thanks for hanging out, Squib. We'll see you later. Does he beat his dog? He doesn't have a dog. Doesn't beat girls. He doesn't dress as a woman that I'm aware of. I mean, you know, anything can happen after 4 or 5 Jaeger bombs. You never know. Let's see. He does have a job. He's got a great job and excellent health insurance. One night he was at the bar and he was telling people that. He was introducing himself. Hi, my name's Adam. I have excellent health insurance and I'm single. So, on a completely unrelated note, do not use "I have excellent health insurance" as a pickup line, because that won't work. And if it did, I would be a little scared of the person that actually worked on. So, yeah, he can change a tire. He's a man's man. He goes deer hunting and everything else. He's a cool guy. Dude, with the super chats. You always hit us with a super chat. You don't have to do that. Thank you so much. Hoping to tag out trophy or meet for the freezer. Why do I have to choose? I say yes. Yes to all the above. I am hoping to tag out with a trophy and some meat for the freezer. I have a plan. for the meat end of it. Back straps we are not going to do anything with other than have them just taken off, and then the rest of it I'm going to take the whole deer over to R&M Meats in Norfolk, Nebraska. If you're in northeast Nebraska, close to Norfolk, dude, you got to go to R&M Meats. I have got supplies for the weekend in here. Some jerky that he made, beef jerky. Some beef sticks. I get the mild because I don't do spicy. I'm a wuss. Mild beef sticks and some beef jerky I've got here. He does all kinds of stuff, anything beef or pork. You can't go there and buy deer from him because that's illegal in the state of Nebraska. At least you can't sell deer, you can only give it away. But I will have Rod over there take the back straps off and just leave those alone and take them home and freeze those down, because I like to do those myself. But everything else, what he can make jerky out of, we'll do that. And he makes whole muscle jerky, which is what I prefer. I don't prefer the ground. I like whole muscle jerky. Always have. So what we can do in the jerky, we'll do that. What we have to grind, we'll do into some sticks. And then I'm good with that. I don't really need anything else. If I've got my back straps, then I've got all the steak that I need. So I won't worry about any of the rest of it. And of the two of us in my house, 50% of us eat deer and the other half doesn't. So that means I've got, 2 deer loins that I've got to eat all by myself anyway, unless I get some help coming over to eat them. So, it's all good. Let's see. Cool. I hope the forklift guy doesn't chase you too much tonight, Squib. Kingpin, that's probably true. True. But that's because the highway that I'm driving follows a river. So most of the major roads that go east to west in Nebraska, well, okay, east to west is relative here. Most of them go from the southeast to the northwest because most of the roads follow a river, and most of the rivers flow southeast here. So some of them kind of wind around a little bit, but for the most part, they either go east to west or kind of in a northwesterly fashion. The roads that go north and south are usually there's more hills on those highways because they cross all the rivers instead of follow them. But yeah, this road is pretty flat. There's not much for hills until I head north off of Highway 20 and I cross the Niobrara. I mean, there's some hills there, and you'll see some hills from the footage I take of the ranch, because half of it is pretty flat and half of it is some nice rolling gumbo hills. It's not even sand hills. Part of the ranch, it's just on the edge of the sand hills for Nebraska. They're not really big, tall sand hills, sand dunes, the way that they are if you go further south and west, but it's still pretty sandy soil. You cross the Kippaha River and you're in gumbo. Like the stuff that balls up on your tires, and if it's raining and you walk through it, it balls up on your boots. I mean, it is clay. It is gumbo, black stuff. And those hills are a little more rolling. So there's some pretty good draws and gullies and stuff to hunt there. So I will make it a point to get some shots of both. And like I said, if I can, I'll drive all the way up around through the hills at some point, just have my camera going, and then I can kind of edit and use some of that footage there in a video at some point. So we'll see what happens there, but hopefully I'll get some time here to do some editing on some of that. Got the new computer all going now, so editing is so much better than it was before. Probably should set my cruise. I don't want to stop and talk to a police officer tonight. So let me catch up on health insurance line. Worked on the second wife, well, for a while. You and me both, Squib. We're both on marriage number 3. Some of us don't get it right the first time, and some of us don't even get it right the second time. We gotta take that third pitch before we get that home run. So, that's cool, Clint. I didn't know that about Robert Englund and Mark Hamill. Just imagine if they had been reversed and Mark Hamill was in Nightmare on Elm Street and Robert Englund played Luke Skywalker. Let's see here. Government health insurance and pension. That's cool. Let's see. Roast back straps. Grind the rest for burger. You know, I don't really care to have any burger because Sandhills Sweetheart is probably going to cook with deer burger much. So it'll go a lot farther if we just make jerky and sticks out of what there is, except, like I said, except the back straps. I like to take the back strap, cut that up into tips, and then flour it, just throw it in the skillet with a little oil, and that's all I need. But oh, it's so good. My tongue's getting excited just thinking about it. I haven't even shot a deer yet. I can't even shoot one tomorrow. Going up tonight, so I got a whole day tomorrow to goof around and hang out up at the place, and maybe do a little filming and stuff, because we can't hunt till Saturday. So, but I kind of want to drive around and see what's what, and go out and sit for a while with my binoculars in the morning and in the late afternoon, and just kind of watch the movement around and see if I can figure out where I'm going to go. The problem when you've got as many acres as we do is to figure out where you're going to go, and then make sure, because we've got a few people in the family that hunt. My sister's family, I think I counted up, there's if they all hunt at the same time, there might be 9 of them hunting. And then I'm up there, and I'm the only one from my house because Sandhills Sweetheart doesn't hunt, but when she gets up there, she'll go with me. I'm trying to convince her to get up before the crack of dawn. That doesn't work. So I get up and go hunt in the morning, and then come back in mid-morning, and by then she's up and running, and she joins me for the rest of the day. So we'll do that Saturday and Sunday, and have some together time. And she won't hunt, but she'll go with. That's cool. Let's see. Ski resort in northwest Nebraska. No, that's going to be out somewhere by Shadron. 385, I think, does go through Shadron. No, I have not been out there. I've been to the cool little ski slope just north of Kearney. I think it takes all of 30 seconds to ski down it. Let's see. Tack Daddy's out there arming the deer. So, I mean, all right, whatever. Just Operation, what is that? Like Operation, it wouldn't be Fast and Furious. It would be, I don't know, what would we call that one? We have to come up with a cool name for that operation instead of Fast and Furious, where you're selling all your guns across the state lines to the deer in Nebraska. Tack, that'd be kind of cool. You're not going to feel sorry for me having to eat? Well, yeah, the tenderloins too. Tenderloin's different than loin, though. Tenderloin comes from the inside. You've got to get that out right away before it gets exposed to the air, and you've got to cut half of it off. So that piece is on the inside. I like that too, but that is, whew, now I'm really hungry. I don't know if I'm gross or not, but when I start to field dress the deer, and it's a messy job. Those of you that have done it or seen it, you understand what I'm saying, and I'll try not to be, too graphic here, but I know it's gross and I know it's messy, but when I start doing it, or I see somebody doing it and I'm standing there, helping hold leg or whatever out of the way, I just get hungry. Just the thought of what that deer is going to turn into. I just get hungry right away, just thinking about it right now. I could eat me some deer steak right now. Mad Sexy's in the house. What's up? Let's see. Tack says, oh, I love you too, Tack. Wait, were you talking to my wife? Hold on here. Everybody's throwing love to my wife. Hey now, just because you know she's home alone doesn't mean y'all got to be throwing hearts and I love you fingers at her. Jeez. Mad Sexy marriage number 1. That's awesome. So let's hear and see all of you and say the heck with marriage, just keep what we have. Well, do you actually have someone and you're just not married? Or are you just keeping what you have as in you're not gonna settle down with somebody? I'm not really sure what you mean there. Blitz is getting married in June. Man, I wish I'd have known about that. We could have offered some DJ services to you, but I think we're probably booked up now. Are we booked up in June, huh? You should talk to Blitz, see what we can do. I don't mind heading east a little bit. I'll do it for free, Blitz, but the mileage is going to suck. We'll just charge you mileage. I told that to Calaveras when he got engaged. I told him, I said, dude, I will DJ your wedding for free, but you got to pay me mileage to get out there. And that's going to be a lot. So that ain't going to happen. Boob Sweat tried it once, not doing it again. That's cool. You do you. I didn't learn after the first one, and then thank God I didn't learn after the second one either, because I didn't know what it was going to be like. So you did, honey. You did go out at the butt crack of dawn that first year, and never since, because then she found out that, hey, this is not what she wants to do every morning before sun up. Why get up and hunt deer before sunup when you've got a perfectly good, warm, comfy bed to sleep in? So, but those deer aren't going to hunt themselves. So one of us had to get up and do it. So I keep doing it. What else we got out there? Butt crack of dawn. Hey, we're a good team too, Blitz. I understand how that works. We're kicking around, I don't remember who it was in the chat the other night that said this. It might have been Dangerous Freedom or Kingpin or somebody out there. I don't remember who it was, but t-shirt design, because when we do the live chats, normally she does the typing and I do the talking. That would be a very cool shirt design. But here's what I need, okay? We need to get her a logo, first and foremost. She's got to have her own logo so that she can have her own avatar and stuff. Once she's got her own logo, then we can do a joint logo that kind of, takes both of ours and puts them together, and that could be the Sandhills Media Empire logo, and then we can make the Sandhills Media Empire shirts and put on there, she does the typing, he does the talking. I think that'd be cool. Fast and Furriest. Yeah, that's not bad, Boob Sweat. I kind of like that. It's called Deer Rights. Hey, deer lives matter. Okay, that's why I don't want to see any of these deer suffer and starve over the winter. And so I'm doing my part to keep the disease out of the herd, keep the herd thinned down, because nobody wants to see a deer get sick to where they can't eat and then freeze to death in the wintertime. So let's see. That's true. Most people do throw them away instead of fixing them, because we're living where, as a whole, we don't fix things, we just throw them away and get another. The problem is there's too many people who, whatever they're dealing with, a relationship, a car, whatever it is, it's not usually beyond salvage. They just don't want to put the time and the work into it, which is sad. So then they throw it away. Sometimes they don't even throw it away before they get the new one, and that's even worse. So anything worth having is worth fighting to keep, right? Anything worth doing is worth doing right. So let's see. What else is going on out there? Depends on the day. I'm not sure where that came from. Contracts, June 20th. Yeah, that was a cool time. When the one time that Sandhills Sweetheart did go out with me first thing in the morning, we got out there in the dark and found some hay bales. That particular pile of bales only had one level. It didn't have bales on top. And there was on the one end, the bales weren't pushed together. So there was a gap between the bales, big enough that we could actually just crawl in there between the bales and wedge ourselves in. And the sun wasn't up yet, and I don't know if she dozed off, but I know I dozed off, fell asleep, and woke up, and it was bright enough. I mean, the sun wasn't up, but it was definitely daylight, and the snow had started to fall, and we had a dusting of snow on us, you know, because we were bundled up in our hunting gear. So the snow didn't melt off of us, you know, because we were insulated well. And I wasn't cold. I felt great. And looked up, and there, I don't know what were there, a dozen deer within rock throwing distance all around us, around that pile of bales that just came in and were grazing as we came in on us while we were sitting in there, kind of dozed off. I don't know why my snoring didn't scare them away, or maybe I wasn't snoring for some strange reason, because I typically do. That's why I sleep with the Darth Vader mask, because of the snoring and the fact that I have a superpower. I can stop breathing for over 3 minutes at a time in the middle of the night. I can't hold my breath for more than 30 seconds, but when I'm asleep, I can quit doing it for 5 or 6 times that. So I don't know why I wasn't snoring so loud that I scared away every deer in the county, but they weren't bugged. They just kind of came along, and so that was kind of neat. That's an experience she said she's never going to forget. I did hear about California, but I didn't get any details. I mentioned that early in the chat. For those of you that joined us late, go back and watch this when it renders on the replay, because I did some rants, some of the stuff that make me mad that I didn't get to the other night. We did talk a little bit about California shooting, but I didn't get any of the details because I haven't had time to stop and read any articles today. Let's see, we're booked on June 20th. Well, crap. Dude, if we'd had this conversation a couple days ago, maybe we could have gone out and crashed your wedding there, Blitz. Was that, there is no Junior Sandhills. So nope, nothing was made. And you know what? I don't know if you've ever been deer hunting in sub-freezing. It wasn't sub-zero, but it was sub-freezing temperatures, all bundled up. There's no making any juniors when you're both wearing 3 layers of outerwear. So no. No, definitely not. We all know what would have happened in that kind of cold weather anyway. That wouldn't have happened. So yeah, sleep apnea is what I have, man. Sexy. I took that test and I passed. Yeah, just checking. Body heat goes a long way at times. Well, body heat goes a long way, but you ever jumped into a really, really cold swimming pool and had physiological effects? I mean, sometimes it's hard, okay, just to answer the call of nature when you're bundled up with a couple layers and it's, about 20 degrees outside. So go try that once and then tell me if you think that anything else could possibly go on when it's that cold. It's not physically possible. Just saying that things don't work the way that they ought to in that temperatures. So anyway, it sucks when you got 5 inches of Carhartt to pull 4 inches of stuff through. doesn't work very well. Anyway, it's another thing that makes me mad, but you play the hand you're dealt. So no, I don't know the details on the shooting yet. I know you're just messing. Me too. Just messing back. We're not too far now. We're just a couple miles away from the old Niobrara River. You guys should Google that. So just Google Niobrara River, and there's some cool pictures of that river all up and down it. If you go out around Valentine, then there's canoeing and tubing, and big touristy river rat deal. Well, that's the thing when you join my live chat, New York. You just never know what you're going to get, but there's a pretty good chance of getting TMI at some point if I'm left to my own ramblings long enough. Just saying. All right, so what does that say, Mad Sexy? Made huge, my daughter. I don't even know what you're trying to say, but I think there's typos in there, dude. You want to give that another whirl, Mad? Because I don't even know what that. I'm usually pretty good about figuring it out. Government forced me to use a CPAP. Really? That's weird. The whole concept of they don't want you dozing off on the job, that is potentially dangerous to a lot of people, but that was the problem I had. I was not getting any sleep at night, and I couldn't stay awake during the day. I'd fall asleep right at work there, which is bad. Nothing like standing at a workstation. You're not even on a chair, standing at a workstation and dozing off and snapping back to when you feel your knees start to buckle. That's an interesting feeling. So wonder if we'll see any deer. I'm going to flip the camera around and give you guys a little bit of a boring highway shot here for a while, because we're about to go down the river hill, and I almost always see some deer coming down this hill any time of day. So I get it. It made you hug your daughter. I see what you're saying now, Matt. I get it. The California thing made you hug your daughter. I get it. I don't know why it wouldn't. Hey, there's a stoplight down here. We must be doing bridge construction. I'm like driving out in the middle of the country and coming up on a stoplight. That's kind of like on what's that movie, Blazing Saddles, when they get to the toll booth out in the middle of the prairie, and everybody lines up and rides through and pays their toll. Mel Brooks is a genius. That shouldn't be funny, but it's hilarious. Green light. Wow. Oh, there's a bump. I'm glad they warned me. There it was. We are now crossing the Niobrara River, which means when we come out the other side, we'll be home. This is Kippahaw County, Nebraska. Welcome to my home, everybody. It never gets old crossing that river and being here. It's weird. Just crossing the county line feels good. Feels like home. I know I'm about 10 to 15 minutes away from my dad's place now. So there's not much to see, but I'm going to leave the camera facing forward so you guys can see what's up. I went through O'Neill tonight, Tara. I'm not going as far as Valentine. I will be about 70 miles east of Valentine, but not east like toward Ainsworth and Bassett, straight east on Highway 12. Or almost to Highway 12, actually. Can't believe we didn't see any deer rolling through there. The only good news I have for anything weather related is the full moon was last weekend. So at least we've got a last quarter coming up here. Waxing or waning gibbous into a last quarter. So that's a little better with the nocturnal patterns of the deer. I prefer new moon, but I'd also prefer getting down to about 0 at night, and it's not doing that for me either. So 50 junkies. Alrighty. When I turn my phone like that, it's harder to read the comments too. So. Let's see. Oh, 50% deer, 50% junkies. I get it. Made sense in my brain now. I'm picking up what you're laying down, Rob. I don't know if I'd go around telling people that you're a buff on people. That seems like I don't know. You just want to have consent, I think, before you rub on people. That's all. It seems like something that you can't do in most states without permission. I was just what was I? Oh, on YouTube. I like the stuff that comes from the Blaze and the people that are on it. And Sarah Gonzalez does the news and why it matters every day, and I like watching those because they cover the current event stuff. Usually they're a day behind, but because it's recorded in the morning and played in the afternoon, but you still get caught up. Usually, they talk about whatever happened yesterday anyway. But they were talking about the new in the city of San Francisco. The new division that the city had to begin. It's basically the poop task force. They had to hire, I don't remember how many people it was, a dozen or a couple dozen people and a couple vehicles. And basically their job is to go around picking up and washing off the poop from the sidewalks, because there is that much poop on the sidewalks. What's really crazy is I'm pretty sure they have an ordinance. If you walk your dog and your dog poops, you got to pick it up. But it's not illegal for you to just pop a squat on the sidewalk and poop and then just leave it, because you don't take a poop, you leave a poop, right? I don't know why they call it taking one anyway. So you can just leave a poop right there on the sidewalk in San Francisco and walk away, and you can't get in trouble for it. But somebody's got to clean that up. So now they've got a new division of city workers. Their sole task is to go around and clean the poop. Which just seems incredibly stupid to me, but whatever. It seems like these are almost urban legends at this point. Alright, thanks for hanging out, Boop Sweat. I've had people tell me before that they've heard stories about the natives on the reservations, and how, you always hear about the old cliche, a brand new house, and they cut a hole in the wall so the horse can drink out of the bathtub, or they cut a hole in the ceiling so they can have a fire inside and vent the smoke. And people, they don't believe that. They think it's all just tall tales until you drive through a reservation and you see things like that for yourself, and you realize that this is really the way that stuff sometimes happens. Not all the time, but it's not a myth. It's not made up. And I wonder, it just seems too far-fetched to be true. Poop on the sidewalks in San Francisco. Dirty needles, poop, urine, everything, just whatever. So, deer hunting next year. Yeah, Texas is funny that way, I've heard. Plus, in Texas, a lot of people have the high fences, so you have to pay to play. But yeah, I know, in California, it seems like it's too far-fetched to be true. But then they turn around and they actually hire people to clean the poop because there's so much of it that literally now I have visions of just there's poop on every sidewalk, on every corner, on every street, every block, at least in the downtown areas. The homeless people can just poop wherever they want to. And I honestly, the worst part, honestly, this is, in my mind, this is the worst part. It's not that there's poop on the sidewalks. That's bad. That's horrible. But can you imagine how little dignity you would have to just poop right out there in front of God and everybody on the sidewalk? Like you have no dignity left. You have no shame. You have nothing left. You're just there. You're already homeless. You know, you don't have a job. You maybe aren't going to freeze to death in San Francisco. But, you know, if it's raining, I mean, it could be kind of miserable. People are walking by, driving by, whatever. And I don't know what would be worse. They look at you when you're pooping, or you just get ignored. You're just part of the scenery, you know, and people just walk on by and don't even acknowledge that you're a human being that exists. I don't know which is worse, but either way, like, that has got to be so dehumanizing, humiliating, so undignified. I cannot imagine. And they think we're backwards out here in the sticks. We're not progressive. We're not woke. They've got people that live on the street and poop on the street, and they've got to pay people to clean up the poop. I hope they hired homeless people for this coalition, this whatever the poop force is going to be called. Super scoopers is what they ought to call it. But I hope they hired some homeless people, at least give some of these people some jobs. I don't know. Craziness. Hey, there's a new house that went up since the last time I drove this road. I was trying to remember when the last time was that I actually got up to my dad's. It's been way too long. I haven't been here all summer. It's just been a crazy summer. And it's hard to do a day trip because it's about 5 hours of road time round trip. So here's Highway 12. Let's turn. "29 miles from Springview, 20 miles from Burke, South Dakota," right here. We're only a few miles from the state line. I'd have to measure it, but we're only 5 or 6 miles, I think, right here from South Dakota. So, but we can hunt deer right up to the state line in one pasture because part of the ranch borders South Dakota. So that's kind of neat. If I get over there, I'll get some pictures of the cool big concrete state line marker. That's kind of neat. Not everybody has seen one of those. So we will get some pictures if I get up there. We'll see. I don't know how all the trails are and if a guy can get up there or not. So I'll find all that out when I talk to my dad. I may get robot-y and I may completely disappear, but I'll be back. If you haven't heard me say goodnight, then hang out and I'll come back. But got it that I might lose you, or you might lose me. We'll see if I robe it. Coon Creek. Can't really tell if I have. Well, looks like I've got some pretty good service right here. Maybe you guys aren't going to lose me on cell service around the area since then. It's nice and it sucks at the same time that there's almost no place that I can go on the ranch now and my phone doesn't work, which is kind of cool if I'm, wanting to play games or watch videos. Or Saturday morning at 11 o'clock, my Huskers kick off in Lincoln against Wisconsin. So Liberty in LA, homeless lady walked up to the truck having an argument with herself. That sounds like fun. Right on the old spare, huh? Well, you know what? That's her spare now. She marked that. That's hers. Wow. That is interesting. Cannot say that I've ever seen and dealt with anybody quite like that. I've had a few arguments with myself, though, so I understand that part of it. Oh. Wish it was daylight. I don't know if the phone would pick it up, though. This thing doesn't do very well for zooming in on far off stuff. Cooking gumbo, huh? Well, I'm gonna go drive through. Well, I don't think I'll drive through much gumbo. It's unless it gets wet, that dirt up there doesn't get real sticky. Let's see. We're getting there though. We're getting closer. Trying to split my time between watching the comments and watching the road, because at any point there could be deer running across, and I don't really want to take one out with the vehicle tonight. Because it's awful hard to do that without losing a headlight out of the deal. At best, or a radiator at worst, or more. So, but at least we'll have a little video evidence if we need it. Oh goodness. Just a few more miles now. 2, 3, 4 or 5 miles. Be a lot better drive if it was daylight and I could actually point some stuff out to you, but it's all good. If I hit one, throw it in the back. Yeah, I don't think I want to eat one that's been tenderized by the vehicle, though. I prefer to cut around the bruised parts, and I like the only bruised part to be where the bullet went through. So, if I break just the one rib on each side with the bullet. Sometimes I get lucky and I get it in between the ribs, which is nice, because if you reach into a deer and you've broken one of the ribs, that's sharp in there. You end up cutting the crap out of the back of your hand at some point. So, and then we're back. Welcome back. Wait, I'm the only one that left. You guys all hung out, so never mind. Thanks for hanging. Told you I'd be right back. Shouldn't lose you now the rest of the trip. We've only got about 3 more miles to go. So anyway, as long as I get it clean and a merciful one shot, one kill type of a deal, I'm good. I don't want to see anything suffer. I know the people that don't hunt don't understand that concept, but the people that do hunt, we don't want to hurt anything. We don't want to make any animals suffer. We want it to be quick and as painless as possible. And if we do it right, the animal never even knew what hit it. And they didn't suffer. So, that's the best part. But you hunt long enough, and you know what? It's just the law of averages. So, my wife said, there we go, we're back. I don't think you can send me messages while I got the camera on live hunt, because it interrupts the live feed. So, anywho, go around this curve, go south for a little bit so we can turn and go north. If it was daylight, you could see part of the ranch on both sides of the road right here. Because we are, well, for all intents, this curve, I will turn off the paved road. Because like Jeff Foxworthy said, if directions to your house include turn off the paved road, you might be a redneck. So I knew that I passed that test, that redneck test of his, right off the bat with that one. But I don't know if you can even see off to the side the trees or any of that in the shoulders of the road here off the, well, they're not in the shoulders, they're actually in the pasture past the shoulder, past the ditch. But all of this area here that you can't see tonight, I promise I'll show it off. I'll get some cool video tomorrow. The road's a little bit soft and squishy right through here. The right side of the road is part of the ranch. The left side belongs to somebody else for a ways yet. Pretty soon it'll be both sides of the road again. We got a few acres up here that we can hunt. Talking to somebody the other day, he said, "You have much ground up there?" And I said, "Yeah, we got some." And he said, "Well, how much?" I told him about how much. Thought he was going to punch me. Apparently, he doesn't have that much ground to hunt on like I do. So, oh well, whatever. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to have the home place, which has grown over the years. The place that my granddad bought, my dad has added on to and acquired more property, that adjoined it over the years. So it's grown some in the last, what's it been? Probably got blocked by the trees. All right, we're back. Wow, this road is soft. It's muddy through here. You can't really tell in the camera feed, but a little muddy through here. Anyway, I'm one hill away from stopping, so I will sign off for now. Everybody that joined and helped me pass the time on the trip, thank you for doing that. Thanks for just sitting and talking, chatting, riding shotgun with me. Appreciate it. And be watching. You never know, I might go live without any notice. So we are here. There's the sign that says slow children at play right there along the road. And we're here. So I gotta go. Thanks everybody. We love you. God bless you. Be safe. And get off my lawn.